Well, another day of dramatic developments in the Murdaugh murders trial we've been covering earlier today. New video of an interview that investigators conducted with him. But just before trial wrapped up, a stunning decision. We welcome into the conversation our legal eagle, as I like to call him, trial attorney Carl B. Grant. So, Carl, the defense fought hard to keep testimony out about the roadside shooting. Judge Newman ruled in their favor, but they asked a question this afternoon that opened the door. What were they thinking?
Well, that's the problem. Once you open the door, the whole limousine parade comes in of evidence that you don't want in. And I don't know what they were thinking, but that's the problem. When you get involved in cross-examination,
yes,
it really needs to be short.
Well, and when I say open the door, now Judge Newman has reversed his decision and said that testimony is going to be allowed.
Absolutely, and that's what open the door means. You've opened the door to evidence that you did not want to come in, but it comes in because you are the one who brought it up. If you don't want it in, don't bring it up. That's why cross has to be effective, has to be succinct and to the point. If it's too long and you're essentially repeating what the prosecution has said and you slide into territory that you don't want to be, you have opened the door, then the prosecution can say, wait a minute, Judge, we want to bring up what they said we shouldn't bring up because they opened the door, and that's exactly what happened.
Also today, SLED agent David Owen had interviewed Murdaugh 2 months after the killing of his wife and son. That third interview was shown today to the jury in detail, and that's the first time they've seen it or any of us have. How will the prosecution and how will the defense use that, especially the fact that it was 2 months after as opposed to 2 hours later or 2 days or 2 weeks later? How will each side use it that it was 2 months later?
Well, the timing is not really going to be important. What's going to be important for the defense is the fact that they're going to argue, well, our client had nothing to hide. He kept being interviewed over and over again. He was so cooperative. He was volunteering to allow you to have search warrants and all these various things. He was an open book.
And in addition to that, even showed surprise when it was like, wait, you're looking at me as a suspect?
Exactly. So that's how the defense is going to use it. Now the prosecution is going to use all of the inconsistencies because I remember something that Angela Bassett said one time about film is forever. It really is forever.
It really is forever.
It is.
Yes.
So, and once you have this guy on tape recorded saying the various things that he said with inconsistencies, that's it. You got it's there. It's never going to go away.
Well, I want our viewers to hear, for those who may have missed some of the testimony earlier today, one exchange that Alec Murdaugh had with investigators during that interview that I have to imagine was compelling for the jury to hear. Let's take a listen to that and then talk with Carl on the other side.
Did you kill Maggie?
No. Did I kill my wife?
Yes, sir.
No, David.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not know who did.
Did you kill Paul?
No, I did not kill Paul.
Do you know who did?
No, sir, I do not know who did. Do you think I killed Maggie?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts
I
take me.
understand that. And you think I killed Paul?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts take me, and I don't have anything that points to anybody else at this time.
So two observations there, Carl. Number one, they kind of had a role reversal where Murdaugh was questioning the investigator, but also they told him straight up they did not rule him out as a suspect.
Right, that's true. They did not rule him out. Therefore, they continue to ask him the various questions, just as they said, follow the evidence. And that's what the investigators do. So that's what he was doing here, is to try to get to what happened.
What do you think as far as Murdaugh himself testifying? Will he, do you think?
I don't.
And would it be a good idea or a bad idea?
I don't think he will, and I think it would be a bad idea, once again, because his story is already out there. Again, the story of exculpation, saying, I did not do it, through teary eyes. Now, whether that's going to explain all of the inconsistencies in his statements, probably not. But you have to determine what's risk-benefit analysis of him getting on that witness stand. These trial lawyers for the prosecution are very skilled, just like the lawyers for the defense. And if he gets on that witness stand, they're going to dissect him piece by piece with every lie and every inconsistency before that very jury.
And even though he has not taken the stand, we'll see if he does or not. But, Carl, we can't overlook the fact that he is an attorney. In a number of these interviews, friends of his who are attorneys were present. Did he make a mistake by not waiving his right to remain silent?
You know, I said in a previous interview the phrase that "don't talk and you might walk." He violated that to the T, because again, you may think, your hubris may think you can talk your way out of trouble. That never seems to happen, no matter your level of education or your title or position. But once you talk, surely the other side will use your words against you.
So we talked during the break about closing arguments. You're thinking maybe the prosecution might wrap up as early as tomorrow. The defense still is bringing in an extra or several witnesses. At the point that we finally get to closing arguments, how long might we expect that to go? It's not going to be 20 minutes, right?
It's not going to be 20 minutes. No. Considering the length of this trial,
Yes.
Dondi, I would imagine that the prosecution will probably take at least 2 hours, and the defense may take at least 2 hours. As I told you before, the longest closing argument I've had for the defense alone is 5.5 hours, but that trial lasted 2 months.
You had to get lunch in between the closing arguments.
You would think, right?
Well, as we look for the prosecution to rest its case, really kind of a two-part question. What are we expecting from the defense? How aggressive do we think prosecutors will be in that cross-examination? And then do prosecutors get to come back and have the final word?
They do. It's called a rebuttal. They have the burden of proof, and they get the chance to rebut what the defense puts up. How aggressive do I think they're going to be? They're going to be as aggressive as the jury will tolerate. Keep in mind the procedures and the techniques that they use are all going to be judged by people who want them to be gentlemen. And if they're not a gentleman, they'll be punished for it.
As you look over the last several weeks of what we've had as an attorney yourself in the courtroom, what would you say the prosecution, if you could change one thing they did, if you could advise them, and the defense, what would you have said should have done it this way?
Well, as I've said before, I don't like criticizing my peers.
But if I were to be teaching them,
you know,
but if I did,
I understand. One of my great friends taught me, said to me many years ago, remember this phrase, it goes like this: the bullfighter's critics fill the stadium full, but it's only the bullfighter who has to face the bull. So these guys are the bullfighters, and I respect them. If I were to do anything differently, it depends upon what role I was playing.
Yes.
I've been a prosecutor and I've been a defense attorney. But again, zealous advocacy within the bounds of the law, with a persuasive technique to convince the jury that your side is the winning side, that's the way to do it.
And as you assess Judge Newman's performance, I've heard a lot of people, even the national pundits, saying that he has done a masterful job in terms of responding to the different motions, the rulings, the hearings that they've held all along the way, even today with this decision. So we have about 20 seconds left, but your assessment?
Sure. Judge Newman, as I've said before, is a great judge, a smart man, and he's doing a marvelous job of this case. In fact, in South Carolina, he's our go-to judge for high-profile and tough cases. The Supreme Court often, if not always, calls upon him, and I'm proud of him. I really am. So he's doing a great job.
Carl Grant, you're doing a great job giving us analysis.
Absolutely.
Thank you for helping us understand it better and our viewers as a result. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.